North London is red. Welcome back to Arsenal podcast here. Still, I need a name for that, but 3-1 was the final score. How excited, how amazing it is. You know what? My weekend just started. It's literally, I just woke up once again. The game ended around four hours ago, and went back to bed, and I woke up, and and then it reminded me that North London is red. What a great game! What a great game by Arsenal. Yeah, there were doubts. They're 100% there were doubts. The fact that Spurs hasn't lost a game yet so far this season. You guys probably know why. I mean, there must be a reason why they haven't lost a game for the past 2 months since the start of the season. And of course, Arsenal has another point to prove. They lost to Manchester United. Not the worst game, but might not be the best game ever. But they still somehow lost 3-1 in that game. And then right now we have to play somebody who is a much higher rated, a team that has a much higher position in terms of the table. That is Spurs. And of course, the next game we're playing is Liverpool. But we're going to focus on the Spurs game because there is a lot of takeaway for today's game. We were getting taunted. We were getting laughed at. We were getting doubted that we only beat small teams. Well, who's a small team now? Right? The fact that people think that Arsenal have stood no chance or just claiming that they've been playing small teams throughout the whole campaign. When we look at Fulham, a great team. They just got promoted, and we barely beat them. Aston Villa, I still think they are a good team. Like, not the best team, not a great team, but still somehow a good team. So I don't know, what the people would say about that, but so happy about this result. I woke up at 4:25 at the exact time. Wake up just to watch this game because I really do want Arsenal to win. I really do want Arsenal to shut the haters up. I've been watching a lot of build up to the videos where people are giving benefit of a doubt to Spurs prior to the game, thinking that if Arsenal lost Manchester United playing well, then Arsenal might have a chance losing to Spurs by playing well because we can all see that Spurs doesn't play the best football so far. So there's a chance where the Spurs was going to win. And there were quite a lot of injury news before that. Martin Odegaard, Partey, Tierney, Zinchenko, all four of them sounds like they are going to be a doubt for the game. And of course, Arteta didn't give much about those information because eventually you don't want to give any information away, right? I mean, when you play against a derby like that, it is going to be, secretive in a lot of ways. So, but then they're all fit. And my predicted starting 11 was pretty much the same. I don't think you should change anything. When Zinchenko was fit, you put him back on, for Tierney. But Kieran Tierney has a great game in the Brentford game. And I think defensively, he should be starting. I think he should be starting in a way, even though, but it's 50-50 in terms of you either put Zinchenko out or you put Tierney out. I think both of them are 50-50, but both of them offers you a totally different, game plan. Zinchenko's more likely to play in the middle, go up a little bit, forming a rare partnership in the middle with Partey. And Tierney just loves to drop back. Defense is his thing. So, but against Spurs, you don't quite know how you're gonna approach it. All you know is Kulusevski, it's out, and that's a good news for Arsenal because he has been a complete nightmare for the first part of the season. But luckily, he was out today, so Arsenal had a bit of an edge there. And Son honestly hasn't been performing well. I know he scored a hat trick in the last game coming on during the Leicester City game. He scored a hat trick, and of course, you gotta be worried about Harry Kane because that guy always scored against Arsenal. And guess what? He did again from penalty spot. So my predicted 11 was pretty much the same, but you know what? It's great to have Reece Nelson back on the bench because when he was first debuted for the club back in 2018, it was the start of my college, and right now I just finished college, or university. Things can change within 5 years, and I really did hope that he is going to be like the next big thing, the next hell end product that's going to shine through the academy and also the Arsenal senior squad. But who would have thought? Turns out it was Bukayo Saka did that first, but not Reece Nelson. Of course, he had a bit of a, dry spell per se. But in the end, it was nice to see Reece Nelson back. I'm expected to see him to play against Bodo Glimt in the Europa League. Hopefully, he's going to play because we can't play Martinelli every day, every game. It's impossible. He's been featuring in every game right now, but I think it's time for Martinelli to take a bit of a rest. So, all right, this game started. I would think it started well. Spurs got a few chances. There's one where Richarlison kind of tried to, from free kick. Good save by Ramsdale. That was a very, very good save. I know it would have been stood offside, but that was a fantastic save right there. And later on, out of nowhere, 18 minutes in, Thomas Partey launches that one. And it finally scored. The 2 goals that he scored for Arsenal so far, the first season he didn't score any. Remember the times where he keep doing like long shots and stuff like that? Didn't work. None of them goes in. None of them were close, especially in the first year during his time with Arsenal. And then later on, second year, got better, scored 2 goals. But still, his long shot is still a little bit off, just a little bit off. And today, finally, he scored that goal. And it's against Spurs as well. How amazing is that? It's the fact that, it feels like there's not much effort behind that shot. Just a side-footed, shot and just curls it to the top right corner. And Lloris had no chance to keep that one away because there's so much pace within that. And you guys probably know when Partey shoots like that instead of like a full-blown like long shot, it's not going to work. But Partey is very, very good at side-footed shot. And finally, it pays off. And that was a great goal. And then there were moments where Arsenal were just dropping back, being hesitated on the ball, especially when you're winning the ball in the transition as well as a little bit slow. There were a few times where, there's a counter-attack for Spurs, and I felt like there's so much space for either Son or for Richarlison on the wing. And I'm starting to get a little bit scared because, oh no, don't tell me that after that little mini team talk, after scoring that goal, again, lovely scene. You just gotta love that from a team like that. Scoring that goal doesn't mean that it's the end game, but you gotta keep pushing forward, and that's what Arsenal did. Try to keep pushing forward, but didn't quite work out because in the 30th minute, Gabriel literally, prior to that penalty, there's so many like scary moments. Ramsdale tried to pass it to Zinchenko through the air, and Zinchenko tried to keep it in, but there's nobody covering him. And I felt like they were so spacious within, between Arsenal players. And that's how Spurs are really good at it, utilizing that tiny little spaces and create chances through that. And of course, the penalty, I told you guys about the whole Gabriel thing. I felt like he is always one big mistake away from causing an error in every single game. And right there, okay, honestly, I don't quite know how Richarlison got so much room into the box, forces who was that? Forces Ramsdale out of his box, trying to close him down. And then, of course, Ramsdale backpedaling to the goal, hopefully trying to stop the cross if possible. He got touched to it. Saliba clears it, not to the most comfortable area. I think in a lot of situation, you just kind of heads it as far as possible. Trying to get it away, because we just need a tiny little bit of break after so many heart attacks in that split of a minute, seconds. Then back to Xhaka, not a great touch, honestly, and then falls right back to Richarlison. Richarlison just dribbled past, but sideways to the penalty box, and then Gabriel being very, very clumsy. I feel like Arsenal always, be very clumsy after scoring the first goal, and that's not what we want. We want to move forward. We don't want to lay back and be clumsy, and that's exactly what happened with Gabriel. He stood his foot out, then you already know, and then Richarlison went down on the floor. You can see how the ball goes after that tackle, and I was like, oh, and then no doubt that's a penalty. I was on Twitter, people were saying that, oh my God, is that soft penalty? Richarlison went down very easily, and I was like, when you look at it again, in a lot of circumstances, it would have been a penalty. It is going to be a penalty, and it was a penalty, and that was about it. That was very clumsy by Gabriel Magalhaes. Just that's the same point that I've been talking about for the past few episodes, where I think Arsenal or Gabriel is just one mistake away from causing a big error, and that's exactly what happened. Harry Kane took a spot. He has a very good record scoring against Arsenal. Just every penalty kicks, he always scores. And of course, before Harry Kane, you have Thierry Henry with the goal scoring record against a fellow North London team, but Harry Kane took that totally fine. Harry Kane, a great striker in my opinion. Just he's just world class. He is world class. I like Harry Kane. I know he's played for Spurs, but he is such a good striker. You guys have to acknowledge that. And of course, he put one behind the spot, and I was like, for the love of God, I really do hope that Ramsdale's going to save that. But you know what? Turns out that's usually where Harry Kane goes. It's actually top left corner, or just on the left side of the goal. Ramsdale gets it the right way. Seems to be a smart move, but Harry Kane went down the middle in the end. That's a smart penalty. You can't unwrite that. But that was a good penalty, and Spurs seemingly it's back in the game, and Arsenal and then for the last 10 minutes of the game, last 10-15 minutes of the game, Spurs literally had 62% of the possession, and that was quite worrying, to be honest. And I thought, okay, we just allowed Spurs to get back in the game, and that's not very ideal. That's not what we want. We want to keep pushing. We want to kill the game as soon as possible. All right, okay. First half finally done, and I think at that moment I thought, you know what, that should be it. Like after the penalty, Arsenal just not going anywhere. There were a few times where we penetrate into the box. There's one with Jesus. Should have done a little bit better. And if you ask me if that was a penalty on Jesus from Dyer, I think that was a penalty. But I don't always want to rely on like penalty and VAR to win. So I wasn't quite fussed about that penalty because I'm not like it's expected. The inconsistency on the VAR, it's a bit abysmal. Okay, second half, came back, boom, 4 minutes in, we score. Okay, it was, you can say it was very lucky. Saka on the right hand side, dribble down to the middle pretty much, take a shot, early shot, caught Luis by surprise, trying to pound that away. But it fell right in front of Romero. Romero trying to tap it back to Lloris, but Lloris missed that. And guess what? Gabriel Jesus was right there at the right time. And that's that's the striker that we want. It's having that instinct in the box where, okay, boom, you're not getting a shot in the box, but at least you try to go for the rebound. All right, no matter what. Even the goalkeeper, assumingly or seemingly caught that, and boom, Lloris just let that one behind him, and Jesus just got there, and I thought, and of course I was happy, but I can't celebrate a goal without looking at the referee, because what happened if Jesus made contact with Lloris in the box? Would that be a foul? Well, thank God it wasn't. And later on, this one is a big thing. That one potentially kills the game. Emerson Royale, just his stud was up above his ankle. He wasn't. You know what? There's difference between trying to give him a kick on the ankle. I would say, I don't know how we would say that, but when you go for the ankle, right? You don't have your studs out and kind of step on it, tackle on it, and it's way above ankle. And you can see why Martinelli will react to that way. I would react to that way if I was playing. But if Emerson Royale wants to tackle him, that's fine. Without like the red card, he could probably just went for like, the face of the feet, right? But he didn't do that. Instead, kind of stood on him or stepped on his ankle. From that angle, that has to be a red card. I'm sorry, but I agree that was a red card. And of course, first thing I did, went on Twitter, and everybody disagreed. It was, oh, that's not red. I was like, that's very soft. And then, of course, there are moments where quite a lot of United players, United fans, using Semi Lokonga and Bruno Fernandes that one. I think that's a red card too, to be honest. But the big thing is United was winning in that game already. So even if Lokonga was being sent off, I don't think it would make any sort of matter. But the fact that Lokonga might have been, serve a 3-match ban, of course, that would not be ideal. But this one, it's a game changer in the end. Emerson Royale is being sent out. And then there were, I don't know too well about his body language, but he seems to be like, so against it, because I'm pretty sure he knows he messed up in that instance. And then, okay, and you were like, all right, they have a red card. What are you going to do about it? What is Arsenal going to do about it? Is Arsenal trying to like keep pressing or try to, fall back? And you can see Antonio Conte already making 4 changes, right? Actually, five changes, right? Was ready to make 5 changes after that red card. But guess what? 6 minutes later, Granit Xhaka, great finish. We just keep pressing on. We just keep pressing on Spurs pretty much after the red card. We just gotta, if we have to bury the game, if we have to utilize what we have on the table, you gotta use it right now. And Arsenal keep pressing, right? Arsenal always seems to be getting the ball back after, I don't know, you would say a defender trying to launch a through ball, but somehow Gabriel or Saliba was right there to head the ball back right in the middle, and that's how Thomas Partey started the attack. A classic 1-2 to Martinelli, finding a little bit of a space to Granit Xhaka, and boom. When you gave Xhaka a little bit of space in the box like that with his left foot, you know he's gonna score. And a very smart finish, just low driven shot. Lloris had no chance. That's pretty much killed the game. And after what Arsenal did, scoring the 3rd goal on Antonio, oh god, just give me 1 second, guys. I absolutely hate that while I'm recording. I don't know why. Maybe my throat is just dry throughout this, but Antonio Conte decided to make changes after that goal. That's a managerial mistake because when you're down by one, right, with the red card, you can still play. You have so much to play for. Yeah, you might be a one man down, but you still have a chance to at least tie the game or at least make a comeback. But Antonio Conte just sat there, just wait until the third goal came in, then they made the sub. That was too late. Because you can see they were sitting back. All the players that they subbed in are not particularly too offensive minded. And you already know Conte at that moment already raises his white flag, and Arsenal just won from then on. Of course, we made a few changes as well. I just wish Tomiyasu came on slightly a bit earlier because you simply don't want to upset Tomiyasu. He seems like a very nice guy, but the fact that he's not starting at this moment because Ben White is ahead of Tomiyasu was just I don't know, but I just hope that Tomiyasu came on slightly early. But you know what? There might be a case where Gabriel might be dropped and Saliba play on the left side, and then you shift Ben White to the right and Tomiyasu as a right back. That would work, but that would be like some sort of an ultimatum to Gabriel because he can't happen like that. But thank God he didn't make a mistake. But Saliba was again fantastic. He might have gotten a yellow card, but other than that, aerial duel, passes, tackles, everything like that was fantastic. This guy was so composed on the ball. There were times where Spurs players Son, Harry Kane are going at him. Was trying to nick the ball off him, but he was so composed. 360 turn, and then he's away. He's like a Rolls Royce in that moment. And in the end, I was like, wow, he nutmegged Eric Dyer. Would you believe that? And Saliba, another great player. Of course, there's so many rumors behind the contract situation. But honestly, we don't know. Apparently, he has the power. He has quite a lot of power in terms of what he wants to do in the future. But I really do hope Arsenal is going to secure a long-term future with him because he, like Cesc Fabregas says, he could be playing for Arsenal for the next 15, 20 years. He's 21 only, but the fact that that's his first North London derby, and he was simply, I would say, fantastic. So, in terms of players rating, I don't know. I don't want to give a lot of ratings because whatever I need to talk about the match, it's already been done. I think overall the team played well. Clumsy here and there. Zinchenko didn't get much on the ball, to be honest. Didn't really have a very good game. Maybe he had a good game. I think he has a decent game, but certainly the game plan didn't quite work out for him. Defensively, just wasn't there. Offensively, the build up not particularly too impressive. But you know what? There are times where players are going to be just like that, and I don't know what the outcome's going to be if Tierney is starting. But you know what? We move with the with the win. Regardless who's playing. In North London is red. So next game against Bodo Glimt in the Europa League at home. So I'm expecting Arsenal to make a few changes here and there. I think it's time. And by the way, thank God Jesus didn't get a yellow card because if he did, I would be very, very upset because next game we're playing Liverpool. So and Reece Nelson, welcome back. Hopefully he's going to start. Lakonga seems to be starting. I assume Xhaka's going to be starting in that game as well. And at the same time, I really do hope we are going to see a few youngsters being on the bench on that match day. I think it will be a very nice experience. I'm not sure if Enesri... Is it Nesri? Enesri? I forgot. Eneri? I think Eneri. I hope he's gonna play some sort of minutes, or even Matt Smith, or even Lino Sosa, or anybody from youngsters can benefit, because I love to watch that, because we have a great academy. I really hope Arsenal's going to utilize that by just fielding in some of the youth players in. Then I think that would be, honestly, I think that would be amazing. So thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in a bit.